Dimp Digital presents Idle Game Chat.
Hello, Apps here from Dimp Digital and welcome to Idle Game Chat. This is the weekly video games podcast where we give our impressions of the video games that you can play today and react to the latest news from the wonderful world of video games. We're here every Monday on your favourite podcast app and YouTube, absolutely free. I'm joined by the reigning Dimp Digital Gaming Quiz champion, once again. It's Tom Adkins, not Adcock. How's it going?
Dawn, I'm fed up. It's a miserable old day. It's fucking pissing down.
You'd got a day off then, didn't you?
Well, it fucking starts raining at like 4, I think it started raining. I was like, what's the day
it was
done?
Pretty much fine all day, and then it absolutely howled it down all evening.
I'm like, oh, that's really... Yeah, like normally when it rains, you get a day off, and there's a little bright side to it.
Yeah.
But once I've done a full day's work and then it rains, not that I go out of an evening, but still, missed opportunity. But other than that, I'm at a lull, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
Dawn.
Oh,
I'm sort of, normally I'm like, right, I've got to start playing a game to get excited for. But because we're in this little bridge,
yes.
like, there's no point. Just trash everything and wait.
Yeah, it's not ideal. I'm struggling. Like, both consoles have been shipped off to Adcock, third-party retailers or outlets, whatever you want to call it. He's off selling them down the market. And I'm stuck with this PC, and then I keep thinking I'm stuck with that Switch as well, which has got a little bit of playtime, which we'll chat about a tiny little bit during this episode. A bit of a muddled episode, just going to warn people. One, it's late. It will be. We're not late. It's still coming out on a Monday, but just late on a Monday because somebody didn't get themselves organised on Sunday. So it's going to be. It's been recorded and pretty much put up as soon as it's ready. So people that have been waiting with bated breath. Like, got a big fan in Japan. He's had to go to bed, so he's missed out on his idle game chat for the day.
Livid.
He'll wake up on Tuesday and get this. That's Evan from Pixel.
Video is absolute livid.
Yeah. It's what happens. And also, just thinking about it, India, our new massive audience, they'll be a day ahead by the time this comes out. So,
what's happened?
Well, that might be it for us. The big push into India flushed away. So it's an unfortunate week. It's a lull in everyone's minds. We're just in that really sticky, awkward period where there are games coming out. That's the thing. But I'm reluctant. Well, I can't because I've got rid of everything. But even if I had a PS4 or my Xbox One X or Pro or whatever I had, I'll be reluctant to even bother. Like, Watch Dogs would be the big one, like, that's coming out in a couple of weeks. I'd be reluctant to get that and just want to sort of put it off till next gen arrives.
Is
that
it next week, is it?
I think it's a couple of weeks. I can't remember when.
Right.
I'll get the date in a second. But is that? I take it you're not going to buy anything until the new consoles arrive.
No, I won't be getting anything. I don't get all the new games like Creed, Watch Dogs, same FIFA. I don't think they have PS5 boxes, so you can. Well, I think Xbox just has one box, doesn't it? Xbox and Xbox Series X.
Yeah. But
you can buy a PS4 and a PS5 version of Assassin's Creed and Watch Dogs. Do you reckon that Cyberpunk you can only get that on PS4 or Xbox One?
No, I don't know how
that's because they ain't releasing that patch.
No, but I think there's still going to be. It's still going to say playable on the. Right. It'll still be playable. It won't have. Like, I think so. It'll still look and run better, is my prediction. I'm pretty sure it will do. It'll just naturally get a bit of a sprucing, but if you want like the ray tracing or some of the more advanced features, it's not naturally gonna do it, I think.
Straight out the box. That's fair enough.
It's a pain in the arse because I'd like to just have that to be like the daddy game, but
so I don't think I'm gonna buy anything before. Pretty sure I ain't. But I then don't want to get too overzealous and buy a shit ton on fucking November. What's its name? So I've got the Xbox coming, delivery, costly.
Yeah.
I need a game for that day one.
Valhalla
is the chosen number, I believe.
That's what
between
I'm gonna
Valhalla and Watch Dogs. It's one of those two. Or should I just fuck it off and get FIFA, the real next-gen game?
There will be people doing that. Once people are waiting for that one.
That's what else is out on day one for Xbox?
So you'll have Watch Dogs would have already been out a week or so.
Yep.
So that would have already been out.
Valhalla is now the 10th, isn't it?
Yeah. Yakuza, Like a Dragon. Yeah. That should be there on day one.
Yakuza meets Persona, they reckon. Cool.
I've never heard such bollocks in all my life. I have, but not this. Nonsense.
Disgusting.
Yeah, for my normal page for releases, I can't get hold of it. I'll get it up. Because that's probably what we'll chat about for a bit. But we do have
nothing. I'm trying to. There's nothing huge that makes me really decide. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to have Creed for Xbox.
Yep.
And Cyberpunk and Spider-Man for PlayStation, and that's it for now.
Right. So Watch Dogs gets just cut out of it for being at an awkward time,
that's
basically.
The thing. It's going to annoy me if Watch Dogs review's better than Creed. I think I will enjoy both because I think they both look quite good. But
yeah,
annoy me if I make the wrong. I should just buy it, but when I've got fucking. And this is what I said. I said as soon as the new console, I'm going to go down to one game at a time. I'm buying 4 games on day one.
Yeah.
So I've already got a fucking 3 game backlog.
It is tricky. Yeah, I think I'm just going to settle with Valhalla and probably Miles Morales. I don't feel like jumping straight into Demon Souls because that's a nice, easy, like, I know I'm going to enjoy Miles Morales, but depending on how short it is or how long it is, probably, I mean, it will matter a bit. I'll be a bit pissed off if it's a bit short, which I think it will be, but I will still enjoy those hours, that I play it, whereas Demon Souls, you're asking for trouble.
Yeah. I reckon I'd buy it day one and I probably still won't complete it by the time Xbox Series fucking whatever the next gen one is will still be sitting there like Bloodborne, rotting.
Well, we'll see. It might get super reviews, then you'll get sucked in. So
that's the thing. Comes out 10 out of 10, best ever launch game on any device.
That would be a real stinger. That would be a real sting in the tail. You've completed 3 games, so we'll try and get through. Right, who's doing fucking DIY at this time of night? Having a laugh, aren't they?
That's how darky.
Fucking hell. Anyway, 3 games you've completed or clocked. We'll try and get to those 3. We should be able to get to those 3, and then we'll see what time's left over, if any. But before we kick things off formally, although we have just been babbling for a little bit, patreon.com/idle game chat is the place to go. So that's where you can chuck some money our way. So all those new listeners, go there and send us some money.
Because these new day ones.
Well, we found this new place that delivers in Southend, and legendarily, a little bit of free advertisement for them. But it costs a lot of money in comparison, so we need to be funding these sort of things. And the double downs back at KFC. We need to get this money in so we can be squandering money on that sort of stuff. But patreon.com/idle game chat is the place for that. What remains of Edith Finch? You've had this for fucking years.
Yonks and yonks. I think you may have been the first one to. Well, it was one of those ones that was it a game? Was it a BAFTA winner or like a Game Awards winner?
Yeah, it did win something. I can't remember exactly what it was. See if I can find it.
And that pricked the ears, and it got some great reviews. And I had meaning to pick it up. I sort of went through a little phase last year of going through some walking simulators. I went through Firewatch and Virginia and Abzu. So this was the next one on my list, and then for some unknown reason it got stuck to the back of the backlog queue.
Yeah.
And then just it must have been last week. I sort of had a mini Tom GX where I was just sort of sampling all game. I just installed a shit ton of. I went through my Epic Games library and I realised that I've like all the free games. I've got a fucking huge library now. So I was like, God, there's actually some decent games on it that I have never played.
Yeah.
So installed a shit ton of them. Just Cause 4 and a Ruiner, which is like a cyberpunk type game from Devolver. And then this one came out. I thought, fuck, I forgot about it. I've got it on PlayStation 4. I might go through it again because I've heard it's quite easy platinum. But I played it on PC, so I went through this. And
bloody hell, how's that thing held up?
Yeah, it was alright, actually. On that potato, with fucking smoke was coming out, trying to keep up with the 60 frames.
Did you tinker with it at all? Did you just let it go with what it was?
No, it seemed to be... it was just automatically set to max settings, and it fucking bossed it. Yeah. That's the trouble. It's because it's a little old 1080p. That's all it can produce. It's only got a willy, so it fucking blasts through that. I can do anything at 1080p, but it's not. That's old gen, isn't it?
Old toot now. People won't accept it. Exactly. Yeah. So it won Best Narrative at the Game Awards 2017. It won Best Narrative at GDC, so another one for that. And it did win Best Game at the BAFTAs. So I didn't get anything at DICE, so I didn't quite get the trifecta. But I think that's what pricked my eyes when I saw the narrative style of things, because I do like to be playing a good story. Although, when I was just making down a note of what you'd played, I thought, I can't fucking remember what this game's all about. Well, I remember really liking it, and I've done a review on it somewhere in the world of YouTube.
Yes, you did, yeah. I remember you playing it. I used to always get it mixed up with, I think there was another free game that was on the PlayStation. So Everyone's Left for the Rapture.
Oh, Everyone's Gone to the Rapture, yeah.
Everyone's Gone to the Rapture.
Which I've played.
Two mixed up.
This is miles better from. And I know I said I can't really remember what happened, but I just remember that bit. That Edith Finch was a miles better experience.
Yeah,
having played both.
There's another one as well. I swear there's another game like that.
Yeah, there is.
I can't remember, but no, I've got to say this was. I wasn't really expecting. I didn't know what to expect, to be honest. I didn't have. It was one of those things where I just went in completely blind. Yes. I didn't know what the story was about. All I knew was that it was short and could be done in sort of one sitting, which quite excited me. I was like, oh, wow. I can actually
Did you do it in one sitting?
I don't think I did, no.
I did it in two.
Listen to one of our podcasts. I think I just started it. And I think I've got to the house, walked in the house, and then we did a podcast. So I had to pause it.
The Vanishing of Ethan Carter. I think that's the one you was talking about.
That's the other one. Yeah. That's what I used to get mixed up with, not that other one, the Rapture one, which I've never played either.
No.
Didn't know what to expect. And it's basically this. You play. It's like a story of a family that believe they're cursed, and you're going through this old, really Tim Burton-esque, weird house, and sort of, find basically what the name of the game is, What Remains of Edith Finch, and it's you sort of play through her memories, through the journal, and just. It's almost like a tech demo, some of it. It just sort of... those were the best parts I found. Those, like, their memories playing for them. Don't know if you can remember.
Yeah, there is definitely... I remember the sort of exploration of the house was reasonably interesting, but when you sort of triggered off a memory, they're almost like... Not mini games, but like a game within a game. They'd all have their own unique kind of gameplay mechanism that would help tell the story, and
it's a bit where you play as a shark as well, so that instantly bumped it up to a 7.
It's always going to help, isn't it?
Yeah. But remember what else there was? It was like that bit, where you was going through like the memory of a child. So she was like, the shark, and all of a sudden you turn into a monster.
Yeah, it's not grounded in terms of how it's done, but it explores like imagination and things like that. And I think in the end, I was really impressed when I finally finished it and put it down. But how did you find it overall?
Yeah, found it. Yeah, it was really cool. It's sort of, you really do have to pay attention to like stay aware.
Not paying attention here, do we?
No, sort of if your mind boggles, so sort of you have to pay attention to every little detail because when they're explaining and stuff, even just as you walk, the way it's done, it's almost. I was trying to explain this to Yellow Boots. I said he'd quite like this because it's short and not really hard to play, and he's a proper bookworm. So I think this game is a right old goggle worm. So I said this game is probably one of the closest experiences compared to like reading a book. I found like it's essentially you're playing through a book because like, as you're walking through the environment, it's sort of plastering sentences on the wall, isn't it?
Yes,
so
yeah.
That's just sort of like lore and background and telling a story at the same time. So if you're sort of too busy in your head looking around, looking at the environment, and you're not listening to what the slapper's saying, that's when you can get stung. But yeah, no, it was interesting. It was really cool. Just hearing the different family members' story and going through this really cool environment. And yeah, nice, short and sweet.
Doesn't that stay welcome, does it? What I liked about it, in direct comparison to like Ethan Carter and Rapture, was that it just felt like it had a bit more game mechanics in it. Like we said with those memories, like because they're essentially walking simulators. I still have yet to come up with a better word for those, but first-person adventure games. But, you do a lot of exploring and reading and stuff like that usually. And you've got that in Edith Finch, but it does give you, I think, a fair amount of gameplay in return to go through, whereas the others tend to stick more in their lane. And that's kind of what I think personally put Edith Finch above those other two that I'd played in quite a short space of time. They kind of appeared midway through the generation, and then I haven't seen too many of them since, but there certainly was a cluster of them during that point. But yeah, overall, I was impressed. But I guess it comes down to where you're going to put those bloody thumbs of yours.
Yeah, straight up the bottom. Yeah, I thought it was a sort of, possible. I really like Firewatch and Virginia. I don't know why.
Oh yes, I forgot about. There's two more yet.
Two more that really stuck with me. I haven't played the other two, so can't do them. But Dibbly do. I'll give a good solid 1 thumb up. Brilliant, yeah, must play. The closest 1 thumb up, maybe to a 2. I thought, it's a solid 8 or 9 out of 10, I'd say. Get it played. It was free on PlayStation Plus and free on Epic Games Store.
It'll be free again.
You ain't getting these freebies.
Yeah, and it ain't gonna damage your fucking time either. You can blast through that.
Got a feeling it's on Game Pass as well, so ridiculous amounts.
Bloody everything is, isn't it?
Yeah, so get it played.
Edith Finch, 1 thumb up, get it played, no excuses because it's a decent length. The City That Never Sleeps, Spider-Man DLC. I'm guessing this was just you trying to warm up for Miles Morales and making sure you tied up any loose ends in New York before you took control of ray-traced Miles Morales.
Did indeed, yes. I'm not really a huge DLC man, to be honest.
It takes a lot for me to go back into a game and do stuff like that.
Yeah. I really enjoyed Horizon Zero Dawn, platinumed it and everything, loved it, but I just never touched that DLC.
Nope.
I should do one. Maybe when it gets closer to the next game, I'll probably do the same as this. But yeah, I did. I wanted to get back into the world and find out what old Miles was doing, because I wondered if there might have been a little connection. Bridging the games. I didn't want to miss out. And yeah, just get a feel for it. Nice little chunks. It's quite a good DLC, really, I thought.
Was it 3 episodes in the end? It was split down into
3 episodes, yeah. It was bringing in characters that were in the main game, I believe.
Right.
Yeah, was it Black Cat, Silver
yeah.
and then that Hammerhead fuck.
Yes.
So it's sort of, a story across those things. So it's, just sort of bridged it. It's almost as if I think they had it already in the locker. It was on the cutting room floor and they've gone, cool, we could use this.
Sneak that in.
Yeah, so that's what annoys me. But I've got to say, I think I picked it up for about £8 in the end because it was on sale. So I was like, that'll do.
Pocket money.
It's a solid sort of, I don't know, overall it's probably a solid 6 hours, 7 hours or something.
Yeah, about a couple of hours each, I'd say, yeah.
Yeah, and definitely. Then you can go through and get the 100%, what we both did.
Yep. Well, I think they added more trophies. I don't know if I got
Yes, they did, yeah.
I think I got
We're
fucked
both
over
on
by that.
97%. The
Yep.
only two we haven't got is a new game plus.
Yeah.
On the hardest difficulty.
Wow,
Like,
fuck that. How was it jumping? Speaking of difficulty, how was it just jumping back into like Spider-Man quite cold? Because I remember that game. I was gonna say I remember getting into a bit of a flow state of that game when it comes to the combat, and you'd suddenly get into after playing it enough, you'd get into a rhythm, and it required like you to keep up that rhythm because it just used to pile enemies on. But I played it reasonably. I think after the 3 episodes had just launched, I then went back and played all 3 of them. So I was a few months out, but not like years out like you were. How was it jumping back in after a bit of a break from old Spider-Man, and was it easy to pick up again and start web slinging around New York City?
I wouldn't call it easy. I think I made it worse by I've been playing sort of hack and slash games in terms of like Nier and things like that with Fleet. And not long ago I was playing a bit of Assassin's Creed, Batman Arkham Asylum, which is a sort of similar combat, that sort of free flow button mashy type. So I found having that, I had that sort of muscle memory in my head, and I did the sort of counterpoints getting on. So every time his little spidey sense would get off, I fucking get whacked. I was like, cool.
Yeah.
And I was doing some of the 100% things you do, those like the fight rooms where it's like a wave based environment where you just get waves and waves of enemies, and that fucking by the end I was like getting absolutely mullered. I was like, cool, what's going on here? So yeah, there is a steep learning curve, but like I say, I think I made it worse for myself by playing other games.
Yeah.
But it's definitely, like you say, one of those games that you play for a couple of times and you start to get into a sort of rhythm.
And we've got 3 episodes in there.
Yeah.
And what did you think? I mean, obviously, you won't spoil the narrative. What do you think of the little narrative they come up with for this particular DLC? And do you think... I'm starting to worry about Miles Morales and running out of ideas. I don't know why.
Yeah.
They're chucking just purple neon on people. I'm like, right.
Yeah.
Is that going to be enough?
Yeah, I suppose it wasn't needed, this DLC. That's why I don't think I bought it in the first place. It was just more of what was there. I wouldn't say to someone, this was required for Miles Morales, you know.
I would say, and I'm not going to say why, but I would say there's parts of this that if in 2 some of the little seeds they've dropped mature, that it might even be sort of not required, but it'd be helpful to have played through this in a full sequel. I don't think they're going to explore that in Miles Morales, but I don't know. In a Spider-Man 2, if they decide to call like the next full game, I could see there being some callbacks to this DLC, or at least you'll notice that the seeds were planted here.
Yeah, could possibly be.
Doesn't agree.
Yeah, might be. The Ultimate Edition, is it included in that, or is that
Yeah, I'd think so. I can't imagine they'll fucking carve it out and go £8 again.
Yeah, remastered edition, £20. Possibly, yeah. So it will be exciting to see what they do with it. But again, I think like when we was talking about Avengers the other week, with this Marvel universe, they've got so many characters they can pull out and arcs they can do. It's sort of possibilities are endless. But yeah, it certainly felt. I feel like good enough and fun. It was just more of Spider-Man.
Yeah.
But it's not. I wouldn't say it's a must play and must buy. That you sort of need to play it unless they do decide to tickle it.
Yeah.
Tickle. They did plant seeds. So I assume they'll continue the seeds that they were dropping at the end of the main game.
You think so? Oh yeah, I forget about. Well, yes, yeah.
That's the thing.
That's certainly more interesting. Yeah, I think it was.
So it does feel like fun, even though it's only 2 years ago. It does feel like a fucking long time ago. But,
time moves quick.
So yeah, maybe this remastered is required.
Yeah. Would you? So we've said that Miles Morales, and whilst we're talking about Spider, we might as well go there. We're talking about Miles Morales getting sort of the PS5 nod on day one. Would it just be the Miles Morales expansion, or would it be that Ultimate Edition that comes with this full game of the original Spider-Man remastered and ray traced and spruced up?
Well, I have been thinking about that, but I suppose I don't know. It didn't bother me at first until they started. Now they've completely changed his face. I'm like,
Yeah,
right,
funnily
God.
enough, that got to me as well.
I was like, right. At first, I thought if it's just a bit more about ray tracing, but it's exactly the same. Now I'm like, fucking hell, they completely changed the main character. What's going on here? So it'd be interesting to see what else they change. And I did enjoy that game. So I don't know. I still am undecided whether to buy that again or not.
They're fucks for doing what they're doing. Like that remaster should be, well, arguably it should be a patch. I mean, the game's, like we said, a couple of years old. I think that's, I don't know. It feels a bit. You could patch this up and do. I know they're like, oh, we've got new trophies. We've put ray trace. It's like, yeah, no. But the main thing for me is that you can't just get it set. Well, as of this recording and as of their communication, you can't get this separately.
No.
So even if you wanted it, you either commit day one with Miles Morales, if that's what you're planning to do, or you just leave it and
that's it.
You know,
I get worried that they might do a bit of a Call of Duty, and like when they did that with the Call of Duty 4 remastered and then Modern Warfare 2, when they sort of bundled it, and then 6 months down the line it comes out on fucking PS Plus.
Yeah,
free.
That's concerning, isn't it? I think I'm going to leave it, to be honest, the Ultimate Edition, just as a bit of a fuck you, because there's no need for it to be bundled in. I would actually consider buying it later on down the line, maybe.
Yeah, later down the line if it has a price cut. But the thing is as well, I'm sitting there thinking, all right, I'll be playing Miles Morales, but I want to be playing new games on this console, not 2-year-old Spider-Man with a fucking Tom Hardy face. Not Tom Hardy, Tom Holland's face stuck on the top of it.
It's very true, yeah, very true.
So, yeah, new games. So, yeah, I think I'm going to boycott that just for the time being. But that's not to say I won't buy it later on.
No,
there's a potential for that.
And end up spending more than you would have done if you just committed to the Ultimate Edition to start with. Yeah, it's a weird thing. There's a couple of weird things that Sony have done with this. That's certainly the oddest one. I mean, we've had reports of cross-saving not working on certain games. So, but they're working on Xbox. So I'm not sure what's going on with PS5 and some of the stuff they're doing. I guess the good news we had this past week was we kind of knew it, but official confirmation and bona fide numbers of what's going to be backwards compatible. And they said it's pretty much everything, and they listed 10 games that wouldn't be, and
10 of the best,
10 of the very best platinum-worthy games. And
was there anything in there that you thought, "Oh"?
We Sing, I think, was the one that I'd earmarked.
That's a big one, wasn't it? But there was like a Hitman Go was a surprise. I thought,
what's that even doing on a console?
Yeah, it's like a mobile game.
It's a mobile blood. I've got it on my Android. Got it sitting here. Like Lara Croft Go, not interested. So that was good to hear that they finally decided to do that in a blog, which is fine by me. I don't think I saw people complaining, saying, "Oh, they should have made a bigger deal of it." And I'm like, can you imagine if they'd said, "Right, new press conference reveal showcase coming Thursday. Tune in, PS5 fans. Got some big news." Everyone would have been going, "Oh, fucking hell, what's it going to be?" And they'd been like, "It's backwards compatibility." It was like, fucking hell, we already sort of knew that, mate. I wasted 20 minutes of my time.
Yeah.
Give me a little blog any day of the week. And then we got to see the PS5 getting torn down as well. It's the size of a human torso.
It is laughably huge, isn't it? Like, I didn't think. Well, to be honest, when I first saw it, I didn't think it was going to be big at all. It just looked like a console. And then there was like a couple of pictures released, and people were saying it's like, I think the dimensions released, so people were like making mock-ups of it. Like, cool, this is going to be a monster. And then now there's official pictures of people with hands on. There's a lot of Photoshops out there, people using it as like desks. It's quite funny. But in all seriousness, even when you see this teardown video, there's a geezer holding his hands, and it is fucking huge.
Yeah, it really put into perspective the size of it. Because like you said, we'd seen mock-ups, we'd even had the dimensions, and I kind of measured it out, but it's still hard to sort of just visualise it without it properly being seen with someone. Yeah. And when I saw that video, I was like, oh my goodness, this thing is disgustingly big almost. Where's that going to go?
I am worried I think where I've got my little desk of what I put my consoles on, there's only about a 15-inch gap from the top of the unit to the bottom of my sound bar.
Blowing out all sorts of hot air on top of it.
Exactly. I think that fucking PlayStation 5 is just going to sit on it and then blow hot air into it. So, fuck's sake. So, I don't like what it looks like sat on its side, but so we'll see.
It's tough.
Might have to build a shelf for it or something.
Yeah, I think that might best be the way to do it. I've got to figure out what to do. I think the Xbox Series X I can put up. I'm considering putting that up on the desk just against the sort of like a gap between my Switch and the speakers. Because although that thing's big as well, like in comparison, I've seen enough of it to think that could just slot in nicely somewhere. Either up on its side or on its upright.
Not as intrusive as the PS5 in terms of sticking it out in your heart. I think like with the Xbox, they just want it. They don't care about what it looked like. It's just a big black box. That can go anywhere as long as you've got Game Pass. We don't give a shit. Yeah. Whereas like the PS5 is like a real statement maker. They're like, right, we want this front and center, this futuristic white fucking torso of a console.
Fucking crazy. Would you consider, because we can take the side plates off, we've seen the teardown, any consideration to getting either custom ones, which I'm sure people, either third parties will definitely do them, and Sony may do official ones, or having a go at decorating yourself, or just leaving it as it is? Because I know a lot of people wanted a black console, and
get the old spray paint.
You could take it off, and spray paint it, and you could do what you want pretty much. People with any sort of artistic skill could do a lot of interesting things with it. But would you go down that route of either buying something or doing something yourself?
I'd be too scared to do it myself. I don't think I'm that artistic. If I could, I'd take it down the old tattoo shop and go, look, mate, I've got a dragon on here. But then I remember that I think it would be a great idea for PlayStation or any third party to start doing this. I thought they were going to do that with the original PS4. You could slide half of it off, couldn't you? The sort of
the shiny side of it, or
the shiny side, and then the other side. I always thought they were going to do little face plates for that custom, but they never did.
No.
You could take the top of the PS4 Pro off, even though it's a fucking nail breaker. And again, they never did. So it would be a sort of loss, a shame if they didn't do that, with how easy it looks like these panels just pop off.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would be interested if there were some cool designs, but as I get older, I like minimalist things now. I don't like stuff looking too busy. So
is white too busy though?
Well,
sitting there glaring out at you.
Souls matter. So maybe if I can get like a black silhouette of Snake, get like a Banksy sprayed on it, like a stencil. Something like that. But then I'll be like, fucking hell, I've ruined my original PS5 edition. So yeah, I certainly think that like third party panels, depending how they look, be interesting. But would you think they might not do it because of like bundles, like when they do these special edition consoles?
Yeah,
just fucking buy the panels. And
it makes you wonder what will happen with those special edition consoles. I still think even if Sony don't do anything, there'll be people will have a go at doing their own third party stuff. Like you can get third party controllers and things like that. I think people will have a go at it. Whether or not they actually turn out to be popular, I'm not convinced. I think it might be one of those things that sort of turns up and then no one really buys it and they sort of go away within the first 18 months. I could see that happening, but maybe Sony won't bother because they'll want to be selling those. That's the alarm. But I hope, like you said, the community do it, because normally a lot of times the community do come up with better things. Like when it's normally the official stuff's always cool, but when you go onto like a Reddit or something and you see people's mock-ups, you're like, cool, imagine that. Yeah, like those fuckers that haven't ever done a Snake Funko Pop, and I've had to look on the custom ones that people have made.
Yeah, exactly.
What are you doing, Konami? Cash cow there, mate.
Exactly. I'm surprised, like even with the old Switch, you'd thought the old dock station, that would have been done. But but there's only a handful you can buy. You could buy like covers for them, I thought, couldn't you?
Yeah, they always just don't. They always seem like there's good ideas out there, but they just kind of fizzle out. So
Yeah, so hope that these really get on top of it. Fucking make a hammer
I
of it.
probably wouldn't even buy one, to be honest.
Nah,
I can't be fucked with that, if I'm honest.
I'll get the
quite like
night
keeping the
shape in the
original.
back of your head. Get Simon J to do it.
Yes, if he'll do a Nike tick or something in the side of it. Like he used to shave in the back of everyone's head when they were 11 in these parts. Spider-Man, the city that never sleeps. Where's your thumbs going? Little bit of detour on PS5 there. But
It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. I suppose it's hard because I didn't pay face value for it. It was.
If someone's picking it up in 2020 for whatever you paid for it, that's how I'll do it. One thumb up,
one thumb up, perfectly fine. Not required, but if you like Spider-Man, get back involved and get yourself another 6-7 hours of gameplay. One thumb up.
There you go. Shadow of the Colossus, the remake.
Ooh,
now,
and this has got the old fucking juices flowing for Dark Souls. No, Demon
Souls. Well, here's my question. And it's more of, I'm just telling this story just to show my wisdom. Now, many moons ago, this was announced, this remake. Looked excellent. Looked brilliant. And then, seemingly, it felt like months before the release of it. I see you playing the old one, the PS3 remaster.
I did, didn't I? What a fucking weird choice to do.
I'll tell you, I tried to intervene. I said, Adkins, don't be playing that. Just put it down, leave it, and then when the new remake comes out, just enjoy it then. And you went, yeah, that's a good idea. And then I checked the trophies, and you fucking done the lot.
Yeah, I did.
Then when it came out, you bought it pretty early, did you?
Day one, I think.
Day one,
I didn't touch it.
It got left.
It was only 25 quid, I think, till this week.
Nice budget game, that was.
When did I get it? When did it come out? 2018 again, or was it 17?
I think it's 2018 I got in my head. I'll find out. But it's sat there since release.
Yeah, it has. And do you know what? When I played the reason I played the original is because I bought it was a bundle, wasn't it? It was Ico or Ico, however you want to say. And it's my brother. 2018, so it's sat there for 2 dusty years and gone, February no, you still ain't looked at me. Yeah. It's even been free on PS Plus.
Yes, it has.
Still. 25 quid squandered. My little fucking Rodney brain went, well, you can't be playing The Last Garden unless you've played Ico. And
that was it, wasn't it? Yes. Okay.
So, did you lend it to me or did I buy Last Guardian?
I don't see why. Well, if you've got it in your collection, you would have bought it, but I feel like I had it, so.
Yeah, you had it, made big noise about it. Wow. And I remember, because it was like a huge deal. People like the build, it was like the PlayStation 4 flagship title, been in development for 200 years. And so my Rodney brain was like, well, you can't be playing that if it's all linked to one universe, supposedly.
I'm convinced by that with Last Guardian, having played it. I don't know if there is anything that links them. Eco and Shadow of the Colossus, I'll definitely.
That seems to have.
But
I think
I'm not convinced about Last Guardian.
Marco turns up at the end. Fucking Last Colossus. That would have been good. DLC.
Yeah.
So I bought that, and then because I had it sitting there, I was like, well, everyone raves about this game.
So hang on, what did you play it on? PS3?
PS3. I had my PS3 still set up.
Bloody hell.
Yeah, so I went back to that dusty old fucking George Foreman grill.
20 frames per second.
20 frame quality. It wasn't that much better looking than the fucking PS2.
No, it wasn't. It was one of the worst remasters ever made.
Yeah. Run like a pig. But yeah, I went through it, and yeah, I should have waited, but I did really enjoy it. And then I think when I did play it when I first got the remake.
Yeah.
And I think I only done 1 or 2 Colossus, and then like I say, put it away for 2 years. I was like, well, I completed this. But yeah, had this sudden urge. I think it was because the PS5's coming. I've been now looking at my games that I bought, saying, right, I need to really finish these off so I can wipe that PS4 clean and start fresh.
Yeah.
So yeah, decided to do it. I think I smashed it out. Do you know what? I'll just go straight into it. This is one of my all-time favourite games, I think, now, after playing.
How's that happened?
I don't know.
I don't disagree with you. It's a great game.
No, it's incredible. But I'd say it's definitely in my top 10. Maybe even squeezes into the top 5. I'm not
Adcock
sure.
Will be smiling ear to it. Like, if he couldn't look any more like Pac-Man, he will hearing that revelation. That's very interesting. And just to confirm, that wasn't the case when you finished the sort of remastered one. This remake has done something to trick
I really liked it, but I suppose probably because I played it so like years later. I can't remember when it came out on PS2. Would it have been like 2001 or 2, something like that?
In my head, I've got 2005, but I'll look it up.
5 again. So yeah, so I've played it years over. So I think there may have been a bit of fatigue where you sort of the generous games have moved on. I still will say the fucking controls are horrid in some places, but
2005.
2005.
2006 for us Europeans, though. I had to wait a good 6 months for that. February.
Well, I waited until, I can't remember when I started playing. Only a couple of years ago, I think it was. I went through them games.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think I may have had a bit of fatigue. Like, sort of the generations have moved on.
Yeah.
Unacceptable graphics, and like you say, it was a bit of a pig of a remaster. Playing on that old dusty PS3, so maybe
shitty
that
old controller. It felt like you could just. I reckon you could just squeeze that and break it. Always felt like.
That's it. So yeah, now when I had no sort of what's it called, it's just in my current time of life right now. My attention span has got shorter.
Yes.
Like things have to interest me quicker. I'm morphing into Biff slowly and surely. Sabine a lot is getting closer and closer. I think it's being in conversations with him. You just negativity is making a real stain.
He does drag you down.
He does.
And he blames
So
me
now,
for negativity. I'm just winding him up, but he means it when he says it. I'm like, Jesus.
That's it. I need to be impressed fairly quickly, and I don't like when you're sitting there, you've got like this big fucking long...
Been a lot.
Been a lot. Yeah, if you know you've got a fucking 70-hour campaign on your town.
Valhalla.
Yeah, you can't psych yourself up for it. This game just suits me so well. Like, but it's just basically a fucking boss rush game.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
isn't it? But it's just so much more than that. It's every little part of this game, especially the way this remaster is, just amps it up, and just the music, the setting, the sort of the sort of how it leaves it almost to your own interpretation of like the story.
Yeah,
sort of
very minimalist.
Yeah, very minimalist. Drip feeds your story and sort of makes you think about it and put your own take on it and spin. And just I think like the gameplay loop, the actual physical gameplay loop is fun and exciting. It's like almost like a puzzle of each boss of how to maneuver around each boss. Just now with this next gen 4K.
Yeah.
You can even there's a 60 FPS mode. You can play it silky smooth 60 FPS.
Yeah.
That just enhances. It's like one of the best looking remasters I've ever seen made.
Yeah.
Blue Point absolutely got their cock out and slapped it all over this. It is just phenomenal, this, and I'm so glad that I did eventually go through it. And like I say, I think I've done it in 4 sessions. I remember doing this when I played the first game. I think I'd done 4 of the bosses a night, so you just do 4 sessions, 4 bosses. They're lovely little palette cleansers for the next night.
Yes,
and I would recommend this to anyone playing this.
Good.
It's just gorgeous. And yeah, bin the PS3 edition.
Oh yeah.
Get the remake done, and it would slot in your top 10. 2 thumbs up. Shadow of the Colossus remake.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's a game that deserves it, and this eliminates the technical issues that we mentioned in the PS3 remaster. Having never played the PS2 version, I can't attain whether that ran silky or looked nice, but you know, this remake really is phenomenal, and I'm glad that there's games like this getting picked up and redone, because it's just introducing a new set of people, a new audience to go out and play the game and experience what is a really, really special game. And the job that obviously the original game and the mechanics and whatnot, you know, you got to give credit to those guys for kind of building that particular game, but I give a lot of credit also to Bluepoint for making this 2005 15-year-old game feel in place in this generation during the PS4 era. Playing on the PS4, it feels like a PS4 game. It looks like a PS4 game. So although the mechanics obviously have to still be there, they've done a great job on the presentation side at making it feel like it's.
Even the controls, I think they like make their own control schemes, and there's even one called, I think, like a modern take on it, and so you can either have the old sort of controls buttons, because I remember there were some weird buttons, like I think is it like R2 to like grab onto something, and
I
remember like running along your horse trying to hold your sword up to see where you're going. That felt clunky, but it's almost to its charm. But like I say, they've made like presets for the controller that modernise it, so it's sort of just, you know, there's something for everyone, whoever wants to do it.
Yeah, absolutely zero excuses for people not to play this game if you've got a PS4.
After three bosses.
He irritates me, that boy. I don't know whether he had his hands on the remake.
Oh right.
I don't know. We'll have to ask Sabine a lot and just say, did you have hands on the remake? I think he might have actually, but it was. Yeah, there's no need to be bidding it in this day, because at the end of the day, like you said, you know, you could do it in under 10 hours. Yeah.
Well, the short thing, I think he didn't like the interpretation. He likes it. He likes the hand holding. He likes the being told the bullet points of what the story is. He don't like all this minimalist story. Scared him, I think. And he found it hard.
Off, but there's no excuse not to get through it. I think I actually did a stream of this years ago when it came out. Funded through it, and it's great. Would you ever be? Because I know that there's higher difficulty settings and things like that. And it moves like the weak points of the Colossi. So even if you've been through it and familiar with it, you've still got to relearn it a little bit. Would that ever interest you going forward to replay? Or is it a game that now you've played it and it slots in that top 10 that you think, I don't need to be going back and playing that?
No, well, with the thing with these top 10s, I sort of think, well, if they're in my top 10, they should be really getting like platinum trophy deservance. So this one, I did have a little look, and a lot of it's down to these time attacks. And I think there's one for completing the whole game in under 5 hours. I was like, cool, that would be a challenge. But I think it's one that certainly. Being how short it is, and that is one. I know we're saying it with films, how they should be watched every year. It's not maybe not every year, but every couple of years. I certainly think this could be one that you could go back to, even if they give it another fucking PS5 boost. You get that full 4K 60 or
that would be really nice.
40p 120. That would be sexual. So it's just brilliant. Just get it played. It was a free as well on PS Plus. It's got to be about a tenner if you look anywhere else.
If you've missed it, just find a way to get hold of it, either on the cheap or just buy it at full whack. Like, such a great game, and it's what I like. It's why I like these remakes. You get these old games brought back to life. If it weren't getting remade, then it unlikely is going to get played by a lot of people who just missed it, who didn't have it on PS2 or don't want to play the grubby PS3 version Like, take the time to remake some of these games, and then you'll reap the benefits, and you'll make some people very happy as well. So,
You could tell Blue Point really. This was like a passion project, wasn't it? You could tell that they really did love it. And I hope they're fucking sitting there now going, right, we're going to do this fucking Metal Gear. We're going to do it. That is the next big one after fucking Demon Souls.
well, yeah, well, still, that turns out, because that Demon Souls looks brilliant.
I've got to say, this. It was a lot of that playing, like watching some footage of that Demon Souls and then playing this Shadow Colossus remake, and I was like, if it's, it's going to be better than this. It's really going to be, like, in terms of the remake, it's going to be so amazing remake. I just can't see this game being anything but a 9 at least.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is what I'm thinking, but I just know that it'll be one of those games that will sting me so hard because I'm not used to this genre. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see. But certainly am considering it. It's in the consider bin.
Yeah.
Will it get out and get onto my fucking torso of a console? Who knows? 8 weeks to go. Or 6. Is it?
Well, what is it now? For the 6th, I think.
It's 4 tomorrow for the Xbox, and then 6 for the PS5. So next month we will have a next gen console, but not the PS5.
We might have 2.
Cool. I might have 3. I don't know what's coming on that day. I might have 18 and 3 consoles. I can't wait.
$2,000 comes out of the account. You're like, got to make this back somehow.
Yeah.
Well, well, let's call it off. Decent. That was chicken salad out of chicken shit. That episode. It was a lazy approach, but 2 good games and 1 excellent game always will bail a podcast out. And to end on Shadow of the Colossus is great. That's probably the last time we'll probably speak about that, to be honest. I think those that have played it, like I've spoken to Adcock about it. I've done a little piece on it years ago, and we talked about Sir Ben a lot. He ain't going to go back to it. He ain't going to get a voice to say why. But
always used to put Piper as a sort of indie game. Not that it's an indie game, but I always imagine that he might like this sort of game.
Yeah, he would. It would be definitely up his alley for sure. But he's binned off that PS4 and gone. I think it's Switch Lite and PC. So
all he does, chuck it on the Master Race.
Yeah, surprised it hasn't, to be honest. But
no, I'm surprised after they've done Horizon and that. I could see that one being a nice link.
That would be a nice one to go on. But there you go, another podcast, another week, another one in the books. We'll be back. Well, I'll be back next Monday. I'm pretty sure. Adkins might be, might not. Depends if does he clock 3 games in a week. If not, he's sacked. That's now his minimum. I said 3 games a week until his next gen come out, and we'll see if he can keep up with that. But everybody, thanks for listening, and nothing more for us to say apart from thanks for your time, and ta-da.
Ta-da.
This was a Dimp Digital production.